I'm gonna let this go. I think people can hear it now, but we can't conduct our proceedings in this way. So I'm gonna remute that.
He is going to come find me and try to hurt me. Every night, I either go to the bathroom or kitchen for a late night snack. I'm scared that he will somehow be there waiting for me. I am living constantly in fear that he is going to come back to hurt me or kill me even. What scares me the most is that I truly don't know all that he is capable or willing to do. I'm scared that he is going to come back for revenge because I have decided to speak up about what he did to me. I'm even starting to go to therapy because my family sees my mental health taking a steep decline. My family also thinks that I do not know how to process anything that happened to me. They are right. My brain keeps scrambling and trying to process things, but the only thing that comes out of it is panic attacks. I constantly think about how I was in fear of not making it out of his house alive one day. Even though I did, it doesn't feel like I did. Ever since that happened, it feels like a part of me was left behind. And the way that this has affected the people around her, I believe my Aunt Patsy has been the person around me that has been affected by this the most. She has tried to help me as much as she possibly could throughout this. She gave me the courage to come forward and even offered to let me stay with her since my dad left for a hunting trip. She was and is constantly worried for me, though. She didn't let me go anywhere unaccompanied in fear of something happening. I can tell there is more to it, but I can't quite pinpoint why it triggers her so much. My friends are extremely worried about me. Not only are they worried about me, but also worried about themselves. Once Ethan told me he has ways to get people killed and even has threatened to have my friends killed. He knows where one of them lives because he had been there before.
Do we have sound yet? Can you tell? All right. Well, that's a lot, Mr. Bovee. That's about as hard hitting as it gets. Apparently, there's another complainant under similar circumstances that I don't know much about, so I can't really consider that, but I guess it could result in another charge. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Bovey's 20 years old. He lives with his parents. Parents were away for a vacation or traveling in some sense, and he got a girl to come over. It's a very 20-year-old story so far. Girl came over, they kind of rekindled whatever relationship they previously had in August of this year. She comes over, and somehow Mr. Bovey's mental condition and his demeanor took a turn toward the negative. I can't say if it's being a younger mind and trying to process how relationships ought to work, because this isn't how they ought to work. Mr. Bovey is consciously aware of that, but clearly things took this huge nosedive. He's pled to his conduct. He acknowledges his domestic assaults that he committed against the complainant. And they spend this period of time together where clearly, Your Honor's read the report. Clearly, Ms. Holmer did not feel free to leave. We don't need to get into the standard of why this wasn't charged as a felony unlawful imprisonment, but there was this rolling tension for these days. I tend to read into the report that it was an ebb and flow situation. I don't know that it was of the same intensity the entire time, but Mr. Bovey obviously conducted himself poorly, and it's pretty clear that there's something that needs to change for him before this escalates into even more troubling conduct. One thing of note is that Mr. Bovey's father, charges were requested against him because he did see this, and not asking for him to be charged, but he felt that this needed a course correction as well. And he may have assaulted Ethan. When the parents got home and find out what's going on, it caused an uproar in the family. So there are people, there are adults in Ethan's life, more mature adults that are aware of the negative issue here and willing to assist society in repairing Ethan to not be this kind of person. I cannot even begin to explain to you why this happened, other than love and youth are complex and apparently sometimes cause wires to cross. But Mr. Bovee does have an appointment with Pivotal. He did a Pivotal intake. He's got appointments scheduled on the book for his own mental health treatment. He's begun taking a sertraline for depression, which was a fairly long-standing medication for him that he had quit during the pendency of this relationship with Miss Holmer. I'm not going to say that that caused everything, but when one ceases psychotropic medication, funny things can happen. I'm unaware of any of this prior conduct that's alleged. I would have been happy to look at it, but I don't have it. So what we're asking is that the court use a probationary period to allow Mr. Bovee to learn how to do relationships. That's what he needs to know. He just doesn't know, and he can't do it, and he's doing it wrong, and he needs to fix it. So we don't shy away from any of the negatives of this case, but we ask for the court to recognize the age, the rehabilitative efforts that may succeed for Mr. Bovee and the other sentencing factors. So with that said, we'd ask the court to institute a period of probation and gladly take advantage of any courses or programming offered during that probation. Thank you.
Mr. Bovee, you've heard what the prosecutor had to say, what Ms. Homer had to say, and what your lawyer had to say. What would you like me to know?
That I take full accountability for my misconduct. I really do. And I'm trying to I don't know how to word it. I'm sorry. Just take accountability for my
Well,
misconduct.
let me ask you a couple of questions. How did you meet Ms. Homer?
It was 2023, and I went to my friend's graduation party, and she ended up showing up later on in the night. And yeah, I just met her at a
All right, and
graduation.
so then you may have dated. How did you reconnect?
One of us got a hold of each other on Facebook.
What kind of work have you done?
Work,
Yeah, employment.
employment. I've worked plenty of places. Currently trying to get a job at a plastics factory, plastics.
Where did you last work?
FedEx.
All right, when did you stop working for them?
Couple right during our relationship.
All right, how'd you lose your job at FedEx?
Not showing up.
Well, that'll do it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Truckee used this term, your parents are more mature than you are. You're very immature. You're 20 years old, you're unemployed, you're living in your parents' basement. Somebody, probably your parents, had to put up a surety bond. So they're out several $100s to bond you out of jail. Your dad was so mad, I'm surprised they didn't leave you in there. It must be your mom bonded you out. But this is really scary stuff.
Yes, sir.
You're 20, I'm 70. Every year in October, they have a candlelight vigil from the domestic assault shelter about people that have lost their lives at an abusive spouse or boyfriend. Occasionally, the victims are male, but the large majority of them are female from bad husbands or bad boyfriends. And they kill themselves after they kill their wife or girlfriend, or they kill their wife and girlfriend and go to prison. Dozens of them in our little county here in St. Joe County. My memory goes back to about 1975. And so, and this reads like one of those. This is weird and creepy. You're very, very needy. You're threatening her. You're threatening self-harm. And as I mentioned, in a number of the cases, the offender kills the girlfriend or the spouse and then they kill themselves. Well, that is not a solution to the question. And as you heard from her, this has been very traumatic to her and has lifetime ramifications. She's going to have to take a while to get through, all because you didn't want her to leave and you didn't want to be alone. And I could see, as weird and creepy as this was, why she didn't want to be there. The more she wanted to leave, the more you didn't want to let her go. I'm going to do a 24-month probation. He ended up doing just 1 day in jail. So we're going to do 91 days in jail, credit 1. Of the 90 days ordered, 60 are deferred. Fine is 0. You're going to at some point need to get a job. Crime victims' rights fee of $75, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, $960 probation oversight fee, which could be cut in half. You can do this in 12 months. But I didn't want you to be able to do it in 6. And you had to pay for the class. Let's add that up. $1,235. The bond is from a surety company, so I don't have any money. You go into the full domestic violence class. No assaultive or threatening behavior, no drugs or alcohol. It didn't seem to be an issue. And no contact. I don't know if they're going to charge this other case or not. We'll see. And you're to sign a release if you do seek pivotal or other mental health treatment. There's 2 of these. In the second one, there's 2 counts. I'm just going to a 1 day credit, 1 day concurrent with other count. They're on probation on the other case. Now you get 5 days a month good time. You're going to have 25 days to sit in jail and think about growing up. And it's going to be very difficult for you to get in a healthy relationship unless you get some treatment. You go into jail now, give your parents a 25-day break and give you pause to think that there's a consequence for your actions. When you get out of jail, you're going to need to check in with the probation department. You're not allowed to have any contact with Miss Homer until further order of court. All right, Mr. Bowlby, now we can turn things around here.
Yeah. What's your mom's phone number? Dad's phone number?
269. Sorry. 269 858 635. This too.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Truckee.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Yeah, we tried tweaking some things. I think we're back. Jim, let me know. Ms. Homer, good luck to you. Glad you were here. All right. Hello, Luke. Miss Mathis is here, Ricky's mom. Let's go ahead and take care of him. As soon as they come back from the other guy in custody. Did you say you thought the credit here was 13 days?
That's what they thought from looking at the jail log, yes.
All right. Lori, why don't you take this domestic violence judgments on Mr. Bovee so they can start those before lunch?
Sorry, what did I do?
Why don't you give those to Jenny?
Oops, cases it's.
That's,
Or did you,
Oh.
is that a mess up or is that somebody else's?
that is somebody else's.
Okay.
Um,
Barker, yeah.
That's
Barker's
Barker.
downstairs.
These are both Parker.
Both Barker, okay, you didn't know. All right, okay. Thank you. Okay, hold on.
Luke, we think he has 13 days credit. Is
Yeah.
that about what you think too?
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I got too. Ready for Rick?
Yeah, please. Good morning, Mr. Mathis.
Good afternoon, Judge.
This is the time and date for sentencing in a probation violation of Mr. Mathis's case 25379 SD. He was convicted of impaired driving. It was actually his third arrest. One of the cases in the middle got dismissed and was a second offense. He was placed on probation and sobriety court. He tried, we just didn't get where we needed to be. So he pled to the probation violation. I wanted to give some thought to this schedule matter for sentencing this morning. His lawyer, Luke Knopfinger, was actually, I think, his original attorney and has been shepherding this all through sobriety court. So Luke has a good handle on this and has been an advocate for Mr. Mathis. He was rolling into one direction and Rick was rolling in the other. But Miss Campfield, what would you like me to know?
Oh, Your Honor, I guess as far as positives, Ricky is in contact with Miss Kiefer. He does keep her apprised of difficulties he has with transportation or getting to meetings or when he forgets about things. He has made extensive efforts to find employment that will work with the program. So I do want to give him credit for those things, but what we have the difficulty with is compliance with the terms of the program. He's still drinking, he's missing tests, he's having positive tests. And I just don't think that he has the ability to stay away from alcohol right now, even though he's ordered to do so. And that would be the healthiest thing for him with his treatment modalities that he needs to complete. He missed an individual session, he missed a group session. Throughout the course of his probation, he hasn't even been able to move to the next phase. Yes, I do think that maturity or lack thereof has something to do with it. But I also don't know that Mr. Mathis has the best support system other than this court and the sobriety court program to try to help him through this either. I know his grandmother was driving him for a period of time to meetings, and then her car broke down, so he wasn't able to have transportation either, according to the report. But a lot of these things are explanations for violations, as opposed to just finding a way and a method to be compliant. He said he could have friends or an uncle help him get to work if he got a job at a certain place, but apparently can't rely on those friends or relatives to get into treatment meetings and probation. So I don't know that he's putting the same efforts into the program that he would be for finding employment, which is concerning. I don't know that he's ready to yet. He is very young and there's a very significantly dangerous pattern developing. So I do think that a significant period of time in custody is warranted because of the violations thus far, and this not being the first one. I don't think that we can leave him in the sobriety court program. I do see that there was not a recommendation for revocation. Perhaps it would be easier for him to comply with the normal term of probation. However, that's not going to work either if he doesn't stop drinking when he's out of custody. And therein lies the rub, I believe, for Mr. Mathis. It'll take away the support of the other participants in the program, but hopefully he'll at least maintain a sponsor, go to some meetings, and do the best that he can on regular probation if the court alters this to such a term. But I do think that the deferred jail as recommended is appropriate. I believe he's got 13 days of credit that should be applied. And I do think that we can no longer leave a position utilized in the sobriety court for Mr. Mathis. He just isn't progressing there. And there are so many others that need it. So I would ask that if he's left on probation, it be converted to just a regular term.
Thank you. Laura, I need some copies. Could you make some copies of this judgment for me? Mr. Knopfinger, you do know a lot about this. Angelique came in the middle, but she has a lot of background too. And you got a lot of emotional capital invested in this case. What would you like me to know?
Well, a couple things, Judge. I'm of course familiar with Mr. Mathis's history. Talk a little about his criminal history. Yeah, one of those cases was dismissed. I don't see any other criminal history other than the 2 drunk driving convictions. And the purpose of the program too, and the biggest incentive I think not just for Mr. Mathis, but then also for public safety, is that he has an interlock installed. As of the end of last month, he'd been in the program for 140 days. We hadn't gotten to that point where he could get an interlock. And the reason I think that's so important, Judge, is because if he doesn't get the interlock, his license is going to be revoked for 5 years. And that's going to follow him around whether or not he does a stint in jail, short or long term. He did some work in the program, and I think you'll get, and Ricky owned up to the violations. He usually isn't one for saying deny, deny, deny.
No, he owned everything essentially. Even when he gave up, he acknowledged it. But yeah, he didn't, he accepted responsibility as far as that goes.
Which is good. And, sometimes that happens. Yeah, he is younger than many of the participants. We've had some participants who have been successful despite their youth. I just worry about his criminal history starting to develop here in terms of suspended license. He has made efforts to get employment. It's been difficult for him. He's explained to the court the reasons for that. I think it's more difficult to get a job than it was maybe a couple months ago too. So it's sort of compounding challenge for him. He does want to be in the program, Judge. I think it's an uphill battle. If the court is inclined to discharge him from the program, I'd ask the court to consider the things that he has done. It hasn't been just failure after failure. I mean, he has gone to numerous AA meetings. He has done more than 50 drug and alcohol screens. Yes, some of those have been positive. He has gone to individual outpatient therapy. He has gone to group therapy, and he's attended sessions before, Your Honor. So I really wish that he could stay in the program. Some of these challenges seem sort of separate and apart from the program, right? Getting the job, having the money to pay for the program. And I don't really have the answers for the court today in terms of how that can happen. Quite frankly, Ricky's going to have to figure it out. I just worry about no interlock and then the next 5 years.
Well, let's talk about last week or the week before. A young man named Riley really needed to be in sobriety court. He's got 2 drunk drivings in a short order. He lives on Youngman Road in Constantine, and he works at Stryker in Kalamazoo or Portage. Long way. And I couldn't fit him into sobriety court because in part Ricky is taking up a spot. So this kid he's revoked and he won't be able to get his license. We sort of reserved it thinking maybe if he could come in. The other thing, he's the same age as Ricky. And we've come to the conclusion that 23 may be too young to be able to do this. Mr. Mathis, I'm going to hear from you in a minute, but in the core there is a good kid. But you keep shooting yourself in the foot. We took you in the group despite your Facebook posts of white boy Ricky holding a bunch of money and a gun and acting like a thug. We thought, well, maybe we can make some progress. Then there's that episode where someone in your car is burning rubber in the parking lot at the high school. Sure looks like you in the driver's picture to me, but you said, oh yeah, I let somebody borrow my car. You got 1 conviction and then 1 arrest, and it would seem like being arrested would be an impetus to not get the 3rd one. And this one was bad. You were drinking with your dad, shots, beer, burning out in your neighborhood, setting your car on fire, just bad, reckless, young, high testosterone, low impulse control behavior. And we wanted to try to intervene because we thought there was and I still believe it, there's a good kid in there. You've been very respectful to me. Many of the days you would wear a coat and a suit to court, and you were trying to do this, but there were so many roadblocks. One of the issues, you had that job at International Paper, and we were trying to finagle this and make that work, and then you lost that job, and you were going to get another job. And you didn't have a license. Everybody in sobriety court doesn't have a license. Every single person, at least to start. And it's hard. And when you're young, you might not have the maturity to do it all. Then you started doing stuff like missing appointments, showing up late for group. It was dragging down the rest of the group. And as I indicated, somebody else didn't get in who needed it because you're in there. And the group was ready to pull the pin on you, with the exception of Luke, 4 times ago. And we kept saying, all right, let's see if we can make this work. So we did make some progress. Maybe it opened the window a little bit for your eyes to see that there is going to be an issue. But Luke's right. If you're revoked, I don't see a path to having you be successful in sobriety court program. You lack the maturity, you lack the support that we need. If I continue on sobriety court probation or regular probation, I'm just setting you up to fail. So I want to get off your back. Having said all that, is there anything you'd like to tell me?
Yeah, I think either decision that you decide to make, I haven't necessarily been set up for failure. You've given me a sense of structure, I guess. So starting to do celebrate recovery in jail to continue my sobriety. And I do have the tools that I need to know now from sobriety court to continue my sobriety, whether I do time or not. I do understand the frustration from you and everybody else in the group, because I guess I'm kind of taken back on their effort, and it's probably frustrating for them that they put all the time and work that they needed to into the group when I was slacking off. I wouldn't say that I'm immature. I think I'm improving in that area due to the group, and I appreciate you letting me join the group in the first place. And I think that's about it.
Well, Rick, that's about the best answers I could ask for. And when you're this young, it's hard to accept the fact that you can't drink. You were a 224, and I think the other two were very high too. And as I said, it's fun. You know, you were in some places where you shouldn't have been. You were with friends at a bachelor party and some other stuff, and they're all out having fun, and you can't. We also had some marijuana camel sticking its nose under the tent. I bet you got a lot of friends because you are personable. But you're not ready for this. So I ordered 91 days and deferred a whole bunch of it. I'm going to revoke your probation. I'm going to get off your back. My fear is you're now going to be on the driving suspended merry-go-round. I'm going to order 75 days, not 91, credit 13, leaving 62 days to serve. There'll be good time in there. If you're a trustee, you'll get additional good time. Luke hit the nail on the head. The worst part of this is losing your license. And in order to get it back, you're going to have to show sobriety. You're a car guy. Um, I don't know what else to say. Have you, we're looking for Mr. Moore's case. Is that you, Mr. Munoz? Which case are you hearing?
I'm an attorney with David Moore's office.
All right, is Mr. Munoz here?
He is, I just have to find him.
All right, thanks. We'll be ready for him next. I'm gonna see you again. I hope not in here. I'll be here for another year. And I hope you don't come back in here. I hope you get out, get a job. I'm off your back. You won't owe me any money. You won't have to test. You won't have to go to treatment. You won't have to go to AA. I'd encourage you to do that anyway. But you aren't gonna be able to drive. All right, Mr. Mathis, I wish Autumn could have been here. She had an emergency. She had to leave. I wish you the best. You're good to go. All right, Angela, this next one was an ordinance case, so I'm glad you were here. As much frustration as I got, I'm sure you got even more. But there is a good kid in there. I hope he doesn't crash into a tree one night. All right, thanks for being here. Okay. Thank you. All right, last we have Jose Manuel Munoz, and we're behind schedule, but his counsel is here. I haven't met him yet. We will bid farewell to our visitor from Long Island via New Brunswick. He must not, did he ask you if you were his client?
He did.
Well, is Jose Munoz here?
I don't know. Security has Munoz checked in. Yes, he is.
All right. Good morning.
I have an FY docket number, Judge. Do
On
you?
Jose Munoz?
Yes.
Well, there's more than one Jose Munoz. There's multiple. This is Jose Manuel Munoz. This is OD 251701.
I'm trying to figure out if this is my case. Judge thought it was an ordinance.
It is a ordinance. Yeah, it's a Timothy Reed case.
Okay. I shall take my leave then.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your help and
Of
valuable
course, I'm
input.
gonna prep your prelims for tomorrow.
Which one? Because there's about 5 really bad ones.
I am running both of your CSEs.
Judge Pattison took a good week to go on vacation.
Mhm.
Plus, there's some homicide stuff in there. It's like, all right,
I'll
well,
be doing an attempted homicide in December in circuit.
oh, you're gonna try one? Which
Yes.
case?
Price. So I have several
Yes.
that will be prepared this month, so.
Well, I mentioned this earlier, between assault, murder, and murder, there's about 8 people in there. Shooting in the car, the Tyree kid, the other kid in Montville, a kid that hit somebody in the head with a tool.
Mhm.
Anyway, I won't get into it all, but yeah, there are a lot of bound over. Michael Taylor is still there.
Mhm.
But anyway, good luck to you and your
Thank
office.
you. Mhm.
All right, thank you for your patience, Mr. Munoz. We were dealing with some other cases and you're here with your counsel. Good morning. Could you place your appearance on the record?
Yep, Alexander Stanko on behalf of Mr. Munoz. I'm an attorney with David Moore. And I would just like to put on the record my apologies for being about 55 minutes, an hour late for the court hearing. I was in Calhoun County this morning for a
Well,
10:30.
I'll tell you what, we didn't even notice because we were, thank you for telling us. I don't always like going through lunch, but we just finished just about when you came in.
Okay,
Frankly, Mr. Munoz is my easiest case of the day. This is a Sturgis ordinance case, file 251701, People versus Jose Munoz. Mr. Stanko, what would you like me to know?
I believe in my discussions with Jose that he pled to an impaired, which is a lesser of operating while intoxicated. Believe that there was an agreement for a period of probation in this case, Your Honor. And I believe he has completed a victim impact statement.
I saw that.
He hasn't completed the substance abuse assessment, but my understanding is that probation services will offer that service for him.
All right, thank you. Mr. Munoz, you're a Sturgis kid. You went to Sturgis High School.
Mhm.
Did you go to kindergarten there?
Yeah,
So you lived in Sturgis all your life
yeah.
and you still live there?
Well, we got to Sturgis around when I was 4 years old, four
Okay.
years, yeah.
But I believe you have citizenship. You're not a Dream Act kid.
Yeah, I'm a citizen.
All right, very good. Because I have several times a year young people that went to Sturgis High School and don't have citizenship and they're in that Dream Act limbo, and that's a factor. You're as American as my kids. But I was concerned about the fact that you're going 85 miles an hour for no real good reason. What would you like me to know?
Other than the fact, I mean, what I was doing was totally wrong. I believe on the paperwork, it said 60 to 85. I don't think I was going 85.
Well, they gave you a ticket for 60, but you were,
That doesn't make it right.
yeah.
I was already home when he started.
So you were headed to your house?
Yeah, I was almost home. He pulled me over about a mile north, like of Gray Lake, passing Wall School. So I was already, like, when I started speeding, I thought I was like being followed. I wasn't aware it was an officer. Either way, that doesn't make it right for me to speed off like that. Could have been handled a different way.
Well, Autumn prepared the report, Autumn Kiefer. She's not able to be here. Because she had an emergency, she had to leave. But you had a valid license. This is gonna not do much for your insurance, but she's recommending a probation. The whole idea, we call this a timeout probation. We see so many young people and just people in general that they go out to have fun, knowing they're gonna drink alcohol and then drive. Plus, I would bet bucks there was also THC in your system. Probably a lot of our drunk drivers have a THC component. You were a 171, which is just over the limit for high blood alcohol level, but they didn't charge that. And the city agreed to a charge of impaired, and I don't object to that. The young man that was here before you, I wish you'd been in the courtroom because you would have been able to watch some of the other things we were doing. But we're gonna give you a timeout. You can't drink or use any drugs. Put you on probation for 12 months. You could be discharged at the end of 6 if you do a successful job. Autumn is recommending 7 days jail credit 1, leaving 6 days to serve. And she's deferring all 6 of those jail days. If you do what I ask you to do, you're not gonna do any additional jail time.
Wait, so I'm gonna get jail time?
No, if you do what I ask you to do, you're not doing any more jail. If the wheels fall off, I got 6 days hanging over your head. So she asked for a 24-month probation. I did a 12. We'll do drug and alcohol testing as directed, including marijuana. You've done the victim impact panel, substance abuse treatment as directed. This is an expensive proposition, $300 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, a $100 screening fee, $480 probation oversight fee, that could be cut in half, and a $200 police reimbursement to the Sturgis PD. You posted a PR bond, so there's no money to apply. I don't think my number's right here. Let me do that again. 300 plus 125 plus 100 plus 480 plus 200. That's not right. Is 1,205. It's 2 in 1 year. All right, if you can complete the terms of this probation in 6 months, you can be discharged at the end of 6 months. You have a restricted driver's license, will allow you to drive back and forth to work, school, treatment, and other limited purposes. Where are you working right now?
At Boost Mobile.
All right. We got a lot of kids in Sturgis. What kind of car do you have?
I currently have a Chevy Cruze, but that day I was driving my father's truck.
They're driving tuner cars around and they're driving real fast.
Yeah.
Racing and raising hell. And when we've had this year in 2025 has been almost a record year of traffic fatalities. Did you know Xavier?
No.
He went out, hit a tree a couple of weeks ago. I'm surprised you didn't. He'd be about your age. He's from Sturgis. Xander, excuse me, was his name.
No.
All right. Well, I don't want you to be him. I feel for his family and everybody that loved him. All right. I want you to take this downstairs to the probation department and they'll get you plugged in on this probation. You're not gonna go to jail if I do what I ask you to do. So I want you to hold up here under the deal. No drugs, no alcohol. Whatever treatment they recommend, and we're gonna do some testing. It also includes marijuana. I know they use marijuana. We'll get a test and see what your benchmarks are. And then they're gonna need to go down to 0. I think you can do this. You just need to think about it for 6 months on a timeout. Or you go down to the probation department. When they're done with you, you're free to go on about your business.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
We're working on it. All right, Deputy Bingman, I think that's it. We got our sound system rectified. I think we hit it with a hammer a couple times and it.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Where did you come from?
This morning,
Yeah,
Calhoun,
so you had to drive from Battle Creek to here?